It was a bright morning at the military training grounds. The sun shone warmly, casting golden light across the wide field where trainees practiced their drills. Among them was Noah, a young Navy trainee who had worked hard to reach this point. Today was not just another day of training. Something in the air felt different, as if the day itself had a secret waiting to be discovered. Noah adjusted his gear, checking every strap and buckle. His uniform was neat and his boots were polished. Even in training, he wanted to be perfect. He could hear the soft shouts of instructors in the distance, the rhythmic sounds of running boots and the occasional whistle that cut through the air. Every sound reminded him that discipline and focus were the keys to success. Nearby, Officer Daniel, a local military police officer, was supervising part of the training. He had been assigned to ensure safety and to observe how trainees managed emergency situations. Daniel was a careful man. He followed rules strictly, and he valued order above all else. But even the most careful people could misinterpret a situation if it seemed unusual. Noah and his team were moving toward the obstacle course. The course was challenging. Walls to climb, ropes to swing, and narrow beams to cross. Today, the instructors had planned a special test. Trainees had to complete the course while carrying extra weight, simulating the pressure of real-life missions. Noah felt excitement and nervousness at the same time. "Stay focused, Noah," whispered his teammate Liam as they approached the first obstacle. "We've practiced this 100 times. We've got this," Noah nodded. He took a deep breath, feeling the morning air fill his lungs. He sprinted forward, landing on the soft ground with precision. His hands gripped the ropes, pulling himself up with strength and balance. Other trainees followed, each moving with determination. The sounds of effort and teamwork created a rhythm that filled the field. Meanwhile, Officer Daniel noticed something unusual. One of the trainees, Noah, was moving faster and more confidently than most. His actions seemed so precise that, for a brief moment, Daniel thought he might be carrying something heavy, or perhaps a special object. Daniel's training made him alert to unexpected risks, and his mind started imagining scenarios. Noah did not notice Daniel's concern. He focused only on the course, pushing himself higher on the walls, swinging across ropes, and landing softly on the ground. His heart beat fast, but he loved the challenge. Training had taught him patience, strength, and confidence. Every movement was careful, but every movement was bold. By mid-morning, the course became even harder. Instructors added new challenges requiring quick thinking. Noah paused at a narrow beam that wobbled slightly. He took another deep breath, remembering the advice of his senior mentor. Trust your training and trust yourself. Slowly and carefully, he crossed the beam, keeping his balance even when it felt like the beam might tilt. Meanwhile, Officer Daniel moved closer, trying to understand what was happening. He watched Noah with keen eyes, noticing every detail. But in that moment, a small misunderstanding began to grow. Daniel saw Noah reach into his bag during the training. And in the world of strict rules and security, even a small movement could appear suspicious. At the same time, Noah reached the last obstacle, a tall climbing wall with ropes dangling from the top. He glanced down at the ground, saw his teammates cheering him on, and smiled. This was what he had trained for, and he felt proud. He climbed swiftly, gripping each rope tightly, and finally landed on the soft mat at the bottom. Daniel's concern increased. From his perspective, the scene did not look like simple training anymore. Noah's confidence, speed, and unusual movements seemed out of place. Daniel radioed his colleagues, asking them to pay attention. Noah, unaware of the growing tension, stood tall on the mat, smiling. He waved at his teammates and prepared for the next set of drills. He had no idea that the day was about to change in a way that would test not just his skills, but the way people perceived courage and misunderstanding. The morning sun continued to shine, warm and bright. Birds chirped in the trees around the field. But somewhere, hidden under the excitement of training, a moment was approaching that would be remembered for a long time. A moment that would show how bravery and calm thinking could turn a misunderstanding into a lesson for everyone. After finishing the obstacle course, Noah wiped the sweat from his forehead and caught his breath. His teammates clapped and cheered, proud of the way he had completed the difficult challenges. Liam came over with a grin. "You did amazing, Noah," Liam said. "I knew you could do it." Noah smiled, feeling the warmth of friendship and encouragement. "Thanks, Liam. It was tough, but I guess all those early mornings really paid off." Nearby, Officer Daniel watched closely, his brow furrowed. Noah's confidence, combined with his quick movements, still seemed unusual to him. Daniel knew that training could be intense, but something about Noah's behavior did not fit the usual pattern. He saw Noah open his bag again, checking and adjusting his gear. Daniel's mind began to imagine possibilities, none of which were part of normal training. "Keep observing," Daniel muttered to himself. He raised his hand and signaled to two other officers standing nearby. "I want full attention on that trainee. Something doesn't feel right." Meanwhile, Noah joined the rest of his team near the field. The instructors were preparing the next exercise, which involved a navigation challenge through a wooded area behind the training ground. Trainees had to find hidden markers and complete the course using only their skills and teamwork. Noah was excited. He loved challenges that tested his mind as well as his body. As Noah and his team prepared, Daniel and the other officers moved closer. They stayed at a safe distance, careful not to interfere directly. Daniel whispered into his radio, explaining what he saw. His colleagues nodded, their expressions serious but cautious. Noah's team set off into the woods, moving carefully among trees and over uneven ground. They communicated quietly, pointing out paths and markers to each other. Noah led with confidence, showing not only skill but also care for his teammates. Every step was thoughtful. Every choice was deliberate. Despite the normalcy of the training, Daniel's concern grew. From his perspective, Noah's actions in the woods seemed deliberate and unusual, almost like he had a plan beyond the training. The officers had been trained to respond quickly to any unusual behavior, so Daniel decided it was better to be safe than sorry. Noah stopped at a clearing to check the map. His teammates gathered around him. "The next marker should be near the fallen tree," Noah said, pointing to a spot. Liam nodded and the group carefully moved toward it. Suddenly, Daniel's voice crackled over the radio. "Hold positions. Keep eyes on the trainee. Maintain a safe distance." His tone was firm but controlled. The other officers nodded, moving into strategic positions around the perimeter of the training area. Noah and his team found the marker and checked it off their list. He looked back toward the main field, unaware of the watchful eyes surrounding them. He was focused only on the challenge, on guiding his teammates through the exercise. As the group moved toward the next point, a small incident happened. Noah reached down to tie his boot tightly while still holding the map in his other hand. Daniel, observing from a distance, misinterpreted the movement. In his experience, unexpected gestures could sometimes indicate a serious situation. His mind filled with concern. "Stay calm," Daniel told his team quietly. "We're not interfering yet. Observe until we are sure." Back in the woods, Noah's team laughed lightly as they solved a small navigation puzzle, celebrating their progress. They had no idea that the officers around them were preparing for a precautionary move. Noah paused, noticing how quiet the woods had become. The usual sounds of birds and rustling leaves seemed faint. He looked around and felt a strange sense of being watched, but he shrugged it off. Training often included moments of suspense, and he told himself it was part of the experience. Daniel, on the other hand, was calculating the next steps. He spoke into the radio again, detailing the positions of his team and the trainee. His concern was based purely on caution, and his goal was to prevent any unexpected problem before it could arise. As the sun climbed higher in the sky, shadows stretched across the field and the wooded area. Noah led his teammates carefully, marking their progress and encouraging them. Little did he know, the day that had started as a regular training morning was slowly transforming into a lesson about misunderstanding, caution, and the importance of communication. The tension in the air was subtle but real. Noah's confidence and skill had caught the attention of observers who were trained to react to the unusual. And in the next moments, both the trainee and the officers would have a chance to show patience, understanding, and courage. Noah and his teammates moved carefully through the dense part of the training woods. The sunlight filtered through the leaves, creating a patchwork of light and shadow on the ground. Each step required attention, as roots and small rocks made the path uneven. Despite the challenges, Noah stayed focused, guiding his team with calm confidence. "This way," he whispered, pointing toward a cluster of bushes where the next marker should be hidden. His teammates followed closely, trusting his judgment. Every movement was precise, every instruction clear. The group moved quietly, enjoying the thrill of solving the navigation challenge. But outside the woods, Officer Daniel and his team were tense. They could see Noah through the gaps in the trees, moving quickly and purposefully. Daniel's concern grew with each step Noah took. In his training, sudden and confident action sometimes meant someone was preparing for more than ordinary activity. Daniel's heart beat a little faster as he radioed his team. "Positions," he said calmly but firmly.
"Keep your distance.
"Be ready, but don't interfere unless necessary." The officers moved silently, careful not to disturb the trainees but staying close enough to respond if anything unusual happened. They stayed behind trees and shrubs, observing every move Noah made. Daniel's eyes never left the young trainee, trying to judge his intentions. Meanwhile, Noah's team reached the clearing where the next marker was hidden. Liam crouched down and found it partially covered under leaves. "Got it," he whispered, showing the marker to the others. Noah smiled and nodded. "Good job," he said quietly. "Let's mark this and move on." As they turned to leave the clearing, Noah felt something brush against his shoulder. It was a small branch, but in that split second his body reacted instinctively. He adjusted his balance and continued moving. Daniel, watching from a distance, saw the motion and misunderstood it. To him, it looked as though Noah was reaching for something in his bag in a suspicious manner. Daniel's mind raced. "Wait for my signal," he muttered to his team. "We might need to intervene." His colleagues nodded, their eyes focused, hands ready but not acting yet. Noah led his team to a small hill where the final marker for this part of the course was hidden. The group paused for a moment, checking the map and planning the best route. Noah looked at his teammates and smiled. "We're almost there," he said. "Just a little more and we'll finish this section." The officers continued to watch from the trees. Each movement Noah made seemed deliberate and unusual. Daniel felt a mixture of caution and unease. In his mind, the trainee's confidence combined with quick, precise movements might signal something unexpected. Noah and his team carefully climbed the hill. Liam slipped slightly, but Noah grabbed his arm to steady him. "Thanks," Liam whispered. "I don't know what I would have done without you." Noah smiled. "We've got to watch out for each other. That's what training teaches us." Finally, they reached the top of the hill. Noah spotted the last marker hidden under a small rock formation. He lifted it and checked it off their map. Relief and pride filled the team. They had completed this part of the course successfully. At the same time, Daniel made a decision. He saw Noah hold the marker and interpret it with calm precision. But the trainee's earlier movements still made him cautious. He radioed his team quietly. "Prepare to surround the area. Stay calm and observe closely." Noah noticed something unusual too. The woods felt quieter than normal. The sounds of birds had faded and he sensed a stillness in the air. He looked around but didn't see anyone. Still, a small feeling in the back of his mind told him to stay alert. He told his team to remain focused and continue toward the exit path of the woods. As they moved, the tension grew. Daniel's team positioned themselves strategically around the area, careful to avoid startling the trainees but ready for any unexpected action. Noah, unaware of the officers nearby, continued guiding his team. The sun shone high, casting long shadows that stretched across the ground. The day had started like any other, but now subtle tension had built between careful observation and simple misunderstanding. The next moments would test patience, clarity, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. Noah's confidence and skill had earned him trust from his teammates, but he had yet to see the cautious eyes that followed him. And Daniel, acting only from duty and training, was about to learn a lesson about perception, courage, and the importance of seeing the full picture. Noah's team moved steadily through the woods, following the map and keeping close to each other. The sunlight was now brighter, making the leaves glow with shades of green and gold. Each step felt confident, but Noah could sense a strange quiet around them. The usual chirping of birds and rustling of small animals had faded. Something was different, though he couldn't tell what. "Stay alert," he whispered to his teammates. "Even small changes in the surroundings can make a difference." Liam nodded, looking around nervously. "It feels too quiet here. Almost like someone is watching us," Noah smiled reassuringly. "It's probably just the woods. We've trained for unexpected situations. Let's keep going." Meanwhile, Officer Daniel and his team were closer than before. They had carefully moved around the edges of the clearing, maintaining cover behind trees and bushes. From their perspective, Noah's precise movements and confident leadership made the situation seem tense. "Ready yourselves," Daniel whispered into his radio. We may need to intervene if anything unusual happens. Observe first, act if necessary. Daniel's team nodded silently. They were trained to remain calm but alert, ready for any unexpected scenario. Each officer focused on Noah, keeping a safe distance while trying to interpret his actions. Back with Noah, the team approached a narrow path that led to a small stream. The water sparkled in the sunlight, and Noah motioned for everyone to move carefully across. He stepped on the rocks first, testing their stability, then helped Liam and the others across. "You're really good at this," Liam said, smiling. "I'm glad you're leading us." Noah shrugged modestly. "We all practice a lot. Teamwork makes it easier." Just as they were about to leave the stream, a slight rustling sound came from nearby bushes. Noah froze and gestured for his team to stop. They crouched slightly, scanning the area. "Probably just an animal," Noah whispered. "Stay calm." But Officer Daniel interpreted the rustling differently. From his position, it looked like a sudden, deliberate movement by Noah. Daniel's instincts told him to be ready. He signaled to his team to slowly move in closer, still careful not to alarm the trainees. Noah noticed movement in the corner of his vision. He turned slightly and saw shadows among the trees. His mind raced for a moment, but he kept calm. "Don't worry," he said to his team. "We'll keep going slowly and carefully." As Noah led the group forward, one of the officers accidentally stepped on a dry branch. The snap echoed through the quiet woods. Noah and his team froze, startled by the sudden sound. "Stay calm," Noah whispered. "It's okay. Let's keep moving." Daniel saw the group's hesitation and felt that something could escalate. He raised his hand and spoke into his radio. "Position yourselves. Maintain control, but remain calm. Don't act unless necessary." Noah continued leading his team, keeping them focused. He checked the map and pointed to a small hill in the distance. "That's our next checkpoint. Just a little further." As they approached the hill, Daniel's team became more cautious. They surrounded the area carefully, hiding behind trees but keeping Noah and his team in sight. Every movement was measured, every step careful. Noah noticed a sense of tension in the air now. He looked around but saw no one in plain sight. He motioned for his team to stay close. "We're almost there. Let's stay focused and move together." The sun shone brightly over the woods, but shadows stretched long across the ground. Both sides, Noah's team and the officers, moved carefully, unsure of the other's intentions. The first direct confrontation was about to happen, though neither side wanted conflict. It was a moment where calm thinking, patience, and understanding would be tested. Noah's skill and confidence would soon meet the careful caution of the officers, creating a moment that could either lead to confusion or to clarity. The quiet woods held their breath as the scene was set for the encounter that would teach a lesson about perception, trust, and the importance of observing before acting. Noah and his team reached the top of the small hill. From there they could see the rest of the woods stretching out in every direction. The morning sunlight painted golden lines across the trees, but the quiet around them felt heavier than usual. Noah paused, noticing a shift in the air. He signaled his team to stop and look around. "Something feels different," he whispered. "Stay alert, but don't panic." Liam looked uneasy. "I feel it too. It's like we're being watched closely." Noah nodded. "Keep calm. Let's move slowly and carefully." From the other side of the trees, Officer Daniel and his team had positioned themselves strategically. They were hidden but close enough to observe every movement. Daniel's eyes remained on Noah, trying to read the situation clearly. He had no intention of causing trouble, but he wanted to ensure safety for everyone. Noah adjusted his bag, checking his equipment. It was a simple gesture, part of his routine, but Daniel misinterpreted it. His instincts as a military officer told him to act cautiously. "Move in slowly," Daniel whispered to his team. "We don't want to alarm them, but we need to maintain control." Noah's team began moving toward the next part of the course. The path led through a small clearing, which made them more visible to Daniel and his colleagues. Noah noticed shadows moving at the edge of the clearing. He paused again, raising a hand to signal the team to stay still. Then Daniel stepped forward slightly, making his presence known without startling the trainees. Noah's heart beat a little faster, but he stayed calm. He remembered his training. Stay composed, observe carefully, and act wisely. "Hello there," Daniel called out gently, his voice calm and steady. "I'm Officer Daniel. I just want to make sure everything is safe here." Noah relaxed slightly but kept his hand near his bag, a natural habit from training. "We're on a navigation exercise," he explained. We're completing a training course under supervision of our instructors. Daniel nodded, lowering his hands to show he meant no harm. I see, it's just, your movements looked unusual from a distance, and I wanted to ensure no one was at risk. Noah smiled politely. I understand. It's a big area, and sometimes movements can look different from far away, but we are following our rules and instructors closely. The tension in the woods slowly began to ease. Liam and the other trainees exchanged relieved glances, realizing that the situation was not dangerous. Noah took a small step forward, showing openness and trust. Daniel took a step closer, still cautious but now more relaxed. Thank you for explaining. I admit I misinterpreted what I saw. Your actions were precise, but that's exactly what you should do in training. Noah nodded. Training teaches us discipline and confidence. Sometimes it can look strange to someone outside the exercise. Both sides smiled, the earlier tension dissolving. The officers and trainees now shared mutual respect. Noah's calm behavior had prevented any unnecessary conflict, and Daniel's caution had ensured safety. Teamwork and communication are important, Noah said softly to his teammates. Today we learned that it's not just about completing a course, it's also about understanding and patience. Daniel looked at the young trainees with admiration. And I learned something too, he said. Even experienced observers can misinterpret what they see. Patience and communication are key. The sun climbed higher, lighting the woods in a warm glow. Noah's team resumed their course with Daniel and his officers at a respectful distance, now observing calmly and appreciating the skills of the trainees. Every step Noah took was careful but confident, showing the balance between discipline and understanding. For Noah and his team, this part of the day became more than just a training exercise. It was a lesson in trust, patience, and how courage is sometimes shown not by speed or strength, but by staying calm and composed when misunderstanding arises. The morning had begun with quiet drills and careful observation, and now it ended with a shared lesson between the trainees and the officers. The woods, once heavy with tension, were now peaceful, filled with sunlight, soft rustling leaves, and a sense of accomplishment. Noah smiled, looking at his teammates. Let's finish the course. Today has already taught us more than we expected. After the brief confrontation, Noah and his team continued through the woods with renewed focus. The tension that had been in the air was gone, replaced by a sense of calm and accomplishment. The sunlight now shone warmly through the trees, creating a peaceful feeling that encouraged steady progress. Stay close, Noah reminded his teammates. We're almost at the end of this section. Liam smiled, his nervousness fading. It feels good to finally move forward without worrying. Noah nodded. Training is not only about speed or skill. It's about patience, awareness, and helping each other. As they moved along the narrow trail, the team encountered a small obstacle, a fallen tree blocking the path. Noah stopped and looked at it carefully. He could climb over it, but he also noticed that Liam's boots might get caught in the branches. Follow my lead, Noah said. We'll go slowly so everyone can get across safely. He climbed over the tree first, then reached down to help Liam. One by one, the team followed, each trainee feeling supported and confident. The small challenge strengthened their teamwork, and the smiles on their faces showed pride in completing it together. Meanwhile, Officer Daniel and his colleagues observed quietly from a distance. They had seen how Noah handled the previous situation with calm and clarity. Daniel felt a deep respect for the trainee's leadership and skill. He's handling this very well, Daniel whispered to his team. Notice how he stays calm and keeps everyone safe. That's what training is all about. Noah and his team reached the next clearing, where the final checkpoint of the navigation course was located. The marker was partially hidden behind a cluster of rocks. Noah motioned for the others to approach carefully. Check it off the list, he said, smiling. We're almost done. Liam crouched down and picked up the marker, showing it to Noah. We did it, he exclaimed quietly. Noah nodded. Good job, everyone. We stayed focused and worked together. That's what counts the most. From the edge of the woods, Daniel stepped out slightly, making sure not to disturb the trainees. He had a small notebook in hand and wrote a few observations. Even though there had been a misunderstanding earlier, he appreciated the professionalism and discipline Noah had shown. Noah noticed Daniel and gave a respectful nod. Thank you for watching us safely, he said. It's good to know there's support nearby, even when it feels quiet or tense. Daniel smiled. You handled everything well. Your calmness prevented any problems. That's what leadership looks like. The team continued along the final path, now moving with confidence and energy. Each step brought them closer to the edge of the training grounds where instructors and other trainees were waiting. The woods, once filled with tension, now felt friendly and bright. "Remember what today taught us," Noah said softly to his teammates. "It's not only about finishing a course or moving fast. It's about patience, awareness, and understanding others." Liam nodded. "I'll remember. And I'll try to stay calm even if things feel tense. Today showed me that." The team reached the open field where the instructors were waiting. They had completed the course successfully, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. The lessons from the morning, about teamwork, caution, and communication, had made the training unforgettable. Daniel and his team stayed back, watching as Noah and his teammates celebrated quietly. He admired how the young trainees had remained focused, handled unexpected situations calmly, and maintained trust in each other. Noah glanced back at the woods, feeling grateful for the day. "We faced challenges, we stayed calm, and we finished strong," he said. "That's the most important part of training." The instructors gathered the trainees and praised their efforts. Noah's team had shown leadership, patience, and skill, but Noah also knew the day had taught more than just physical training. It had taught everyone present about understanding, observation, and trust. The sun continued to shine brightly over the training grounds. Birds returned to their songs, and the wood seemed lively again. Noah and his teammates walked together, sharing smiles and quiet words of encouragement. The morning had started like any other, but it ended as a day filled with lessons, teamwork, and respect. Noah felt proud not only of completing the course but also of how they had handled the unexpected tension. Today, everyone had learned something valuable about courage, patience, and the importance of seeing the full picture before making a decision. After completing the course, Noah and his team walked slowly toward the main training area. Their bodies were tired from the morning exercises, but their spirits were high. The sun shone brightly and the cool breeze felt refreshing after hours of intense training. Liam walked beside Noah, smiling. "I can't believe we made it through the whole course. It felt so long, but it was worth it." Noah nodded. "It was tough, but we stayed focused and worked together. That's what really matters." Officer Daniel, who had been observing from a distance, approached carefully. He walked with calm steps, making sure the trainees felt comfortable. Noah noticed him and gave a respectful nod. "Good work, trainees," Daniel said, smiling. "You handled the course very well. I especially want to mention your calmness and teamwork. It made a difference today." Noah's team exchanged glances, feeling proud and a little surprised. The officer's words carried weight because they came from someone who had observed the situation closely. "Thank you, sir," Noah replied politely. "We tried to stay calm and focused. We didn't want to make mistakes that could cause problems," Daniel nodded. "You did more than that. You showed leadership and confidence. And you also taught me something today, how perception can change based on distance and perspective. Even trained observers can misinterpret what they see." Noah smiled. "That's a good lesson for all of us. We need to trust each other, and we need to stay calm. Misunderstandings happen, but we can handle them with patience." The other trainees gathered around, listening to the conversation. Liam spoke up. "I learned that too. Even when things seem tense or uncertain, we can stay composed and help each other. It really works." Daniel looked around at the young trainees, his expression softening. "You all have a lot of potential. Today wasn't just about completing a course. It was about character, patience, and understanding. That's the true measure of success." Noah felt a sense of pride, not only for completing the course but also for showing maturity under pressure. He realized that leadership was not just about being fast or strong. It was about staying calm, observing clearly, and helping others. The instructors, who had been watching from the edge of the field, joined the conversation. "Noah and his team did an excellent job," one of them said. "They stayed composed even when the situation seemed unusual. That's the kind of training we hope every trainee experiences." Noah's team smiled. They felt that their efforts had been recognized, and that made the long hours of practice worthwhile. Daniel continued. "I also want to apologize if my actions caused any concern. I acted out of caution, but your calm behavior helped avoid unnecessary tension. That's something to respect." Noah shook his head. "No apology needed. We understand. Safety is important and you were just doing your job. It actually helped us stay aware and focused too. The sun was now high in the sky, warming the field. Birds had returned to their songs, and the woods nearby were lively again. The air felt fresh and filled with accomplishment. Let's remember today, Noah said quietly to his teammates. It wasn't just a training exercise. It was a lesson about respect, trust, and understanding. That's something we can carry with us every day. Liam nodded. Absolutely. I'll never forget it. Daniel looked at Noah and the team with admiration. I hope you all continue to grow and lead with the same calm and confidence you showed today. The world needs people who can stay steady, observe carefully, and act wisely. Noah felt inspired. Today had started as an ordinary training day, but it ended as a meaningful lesson for everyone involved. Not only had they completed the course, but they had also demonstrated qualities that would serve them in real-life situations beyond training. As the team walked back to the main camp, Noah felt a sense of pride and gratitude. He knew that the respect earned today was more valuable than any medal or recognition. It was built on calmness, understanding, and teamwork, a lesson that would stay with him forever. The field was alive with movement and energy. Trainees shared stories, instructors gave advice, and officers observed quietly. Yet among all this activity, Noah felt a quiet confidence. He had faced misunderstanding and tension, stayed composed, and gained respect for himself and others. Today had taught him that courage and calm could create understanding even in the most uncertain moments. The sun began to descend slowly, casting warm golden light across the training grounds. Noah and his team walked back toward the main camp, their steps slower now, tired but full of pride. The day had been long and challenging, but it had also been a day of learning, understanding, and growth. Liam looked at Noah, smiling. I can't believe everything that happened today. At first I was nervous, but now I feel proud of how we handled it. Noah nodded. It wasn't easy, but we stayed calm and focused. That's what matters the most. As they approached the open field where instructors and other trainees were finishing exercises, Officer Daniel stepped forward to meet them. His expression was kind and his posture relaxed. You all did very well, Daniel said. I have observed many training sessions, but today was special. You handled unexpected tension calmly and showed leadership and teamwork. That's impressive, Noah smiled politely. Thank you, sir. We tried to stay composed and make sure everyone was safe. I think we all learned a lot today. Daniel nodded. Indeed. Today was more than just a training exercise. It was a lesson in observation, patience, and understanding. Even when things seem uncertain, staying calm and thinking clearly makes all the difference. The team's instructors came over to congratulate them as well. One of them spoke to Noah and his teammates. You have shown skill, courage, and composure. That is exactly what we hope to see in every trainee. Today proves that true success is measured not just by completing a course, but by how you handle yourself in unexpected situations. Noah's teammates smiled and exchanged proud glances. Liam whispered to him, I've learned something important today. It's not about rushing or showing strength. It's about staying steady and supporting each other. Noah nodded. Exactly. Courage isn't always about action. Sometimes it's about patience, observation, and understanding. That's what we did today, and that's why we succeeded. Officer Daniel spoke again, this time addressing everyone around. I also learned something today. Even trained observers can misinterpret situations. The important part is to stay calm, gather information, and respond wisely. That is a lesson for all of us, both trainees and officers. Noah felt a quiet sense of pride. Today had been more than a test of skill. It had been a test of character. He realized that the respect they earned from the officers and instructors was not just because they completed the training, but because they handled a tense situation with maturity and wisdom. The sun continued to sink, and the shadows grew longer across the field. Noah and his team walked together, their steps synchronized, their minds reflecting on the lessons of the day. They had faced tension, misunderstanding, and caution, but they had navigated everything calmly and successfully. Liam smiled again. I think today will stay in my memory forever, not because of the course itself, but because of how we handled everything together. Noah agreed. We learned about leadership, patience, and teamwork. But we also learned about respect. Respect for others, for rules, and for understanding perspectives different from our own. Daniel watched the young trainees with admiration. He realized that the lessons they had demonstrated today were valuable not only for training, but for life. He felt grateful to witness their composure and leadership. As the team reached the edge of the camp, Noah looked back at the woods. The place that had seemed tense and uncertain earlier now felt peaceful. The sunlight danced on the leaves, birds sang again, and the quiet rustle of wind reminded him that every day brought a chance to learn and grow. Noah turned to his teammates. "We did well today. Let's remember these lessons, not just for training, but for everything we do in the future." Liam smiled. "Absolutely. Today showed me what true courage and calm really mean." The day ended with a feeling of accomplishment, understanding, and mutual respect. Noah's team had completed not just a course, but a journey of learning that would stay with them forever. And Officer Daniel, who had observed with caution and care, left with a new appreciation for patience, calm observation, and the strength of young leaders. The sun dipped lower, casting a golden glow over the training grounds. The field, once filled with tension and uncertainty, now felt bright, peaceful, and full of promise. Noah and his team walked together, stronger, wiser, and ready for whatever challenges might come next.